Dana White has announced Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Gary as the new co-main event for UFC 310. Dana also announced Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with some new fight updates. The welterweight title fight between Belal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov is off due to Belal having surgery. Stepping up into the main event is flyweight champion Pantoja, who will be facing the debuting Kai Asakura. Kai was the two-time 135-pound men's champion for Rizin, which is the leading Japanese MMA promotion run by Saki Kibara. This guy is considered one of the hardest hitting strikers at 135 pounds, and he's coming to the UFC and moving down in weight. He faces current UFC flyweight champion Pantoja, who's on a 6-fight win streak, and 3 of those were in title fights. The men's flyweight division is becoming one of the most exciting divisions in the sport, and this fight should be all action. The new co-main event is a 5-round #1 contender fight at welterweight. Undefeated Shavkat Rakhmonov will now take on undefeated Ian Gary, who's moving over from the main event of Tampa a week later. Rakhmonov is 18-0 and has an unbelievable 100% finish rate, with all 18 of his wins coming by finish. Ian Gary is a complete all-around fighter who is also undefeated, 15-0, and is coming off wins against Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, Michael Venom Page. These are 2 of the best young guys at 170 pounds, and the winner will fight Belal for the title early next year. The new main event for Tampa will now feature Colby Covington taking on Joaquin Buckley. Colby is the former interim welterweight champion and is coming off a championship fight against Leon Edwards, has wins over guys like Masvidal, Woodley, Lawler, and RDA. Since moving to welterweight, Buckley is on a 5-fight win streak, with 3 of those coming by finish. And in his last fight, he won Performance of the Night with a nasty KO over Wonderboy Thompson. Both guys love to talk, and I expect this to be a war. UFC 310 is live Saturday, December 7th from T-Mobile Arena, and UFC Tampa is live Saturday, December 14th. I will see you there.
The UFC called us 15 minutes ago and said, will you fight Shavkat December 7th? I am going to say yes. I believe that it's far more important to talk to you guys and let you guys know first. Can you say, you guys?
Hey guys.
So now, we're in Phuket, Thailand for a chunky southpaw, getting ready for Joaquin Buckley. I'm going to change it all. Fight a week earlier, December 7th in Las Vegas, which is where I wanted to fight, when I wanted to fight. The world will only be able to say that I'm a gamer. They will only be able to say that this guy will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. And the perfect example is give me the boogeyman of the welterweight division, and I'll stand in there in 3 weeks' notice and I'll find a way to beat him.
Jon Jones doubles down that he wants to fight for a BMF belt after UFC 309.
I've been able to accomplish a lot of great things in my career. I would say 2 of my biggest goals now is just to beat Stipe Miocic on Saturday night, and then after that, challenge for a 3rd belt in the BMF belt. I think that'd be really, really cool to have 3. This weekend, I see the fight going great. You know, I see myself going out there and just doing what I've trained to do and doing what I do best, which is go out there and have a lot of fun. Try to stay free and loose and just let it all hang out, let the skills just shine through, let the hard work shine through, the teamwork shine through, and that's my prediction. I think I'm gonna go out there and just do what I've always done, just kick some major butt. Things will feel full circle for sure. When I joined MMA, it wasn't legal. In New York State, I had to travel to Connecticut and New Jersey and all the surrounding areas, and now we're here years later, and the main event at Madison Square Garden, known around the world, and all of it. It feels really, really cool. Sometimes it feels surreal, but you know, this is the lane that I'm in. This is the lane that I earned, and it's just all one big blessing, really. I'm excited to do my best with it.
Max Holloway says it would be an honor to fight Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. Max fought Charles back in 2015 and won via TKO in the 1st round because Charles sustained an esophagus injury.
I heard Oliveira said he wanted to go for the BMF. That's pretty cool. And Oliveira, I know we have some history, and I know that if that fight was ever offered to me, brother, it'd be an honor to share the octagon with you, bro. You're a beast. You're an animal. And, you know, I can't wait. I can't wait for this fight. This fight is huge.
Charles Oliveira warns Ilia Topuria about moving up to the lightweight division. Speaking to media, Oliveira said Ilia is a tough fighter, someone who talks the talk and walks the walk. He's doing things. I could see why he would want to challenge people. He would be obviously a tough fight. I think that what happens is, a lot of fighters, whenever they get the belt, they have that belt wrapped around their waist. They start thinking up and down in the divisions. But I think you have to be very careful when you're coming up to lightweight because this is tough. This is a very tough division. But at any rate, I think he's a very tough and very dangerous guy. Stipe Miocic is confident he gets his belt back this weekend. In regards to fans doubting him, Stipe says he was sensitive to that earlier in his career. However, now he doesn't care what people think.
I just worry about, task at hand, getting that belt back. I think he just, did some right things and he won some good fights. Every fight's different. Every night's different. And I think that, he's having good nights. I think those guys also had good nights, but he found a way to win. That's why he's champ. I mean, I'm not worried about my legacy. I'm here to fight. And I think everything I've done speaks for itself. But at the same point, I don't really care what anyone thinks about it, what everyone says, or I don't care. I have a job I want to do. And I'm gonna get it done. For the beginning of my career was rough. I was sensitive to Sally a lot, and I was like, man, why would you say that about me? And then after a while, I just stopped caring. It actually, in my whole life, it helped my whole life out. And then taking that and spraying around everything else I do outside of fighting, it helped. I just don't care anymore. I really don't care. You have something bad about me, good for you. You don't even know me. I don't really care. Your opinion doesn't matter to me. I'm fighting, the Mecca. Madison Square Garden doesn't get bigger than that. And it's such a great fight. Fighting a great fighter, and I think, it's gonna be great. But like I said. Walking to the octagon, fighting another man. I think it's huge. I take a lot of pride in it just because, everyone always back down. You lose one, everyone thinks you're done and finished, and you get it back. And same thing again. You just want to get it back and tell everyone to shut up, mind your own business.
Henry Cejudo doesn't think Stipe Miocic has a chance against Jon Jones, and Kamaru Usman disagrees. Usman thinks Stipe actually has a good chance to win this fight.
Either way, I watched that fight, and Jon pressed him. When Jon presses people, he takes people going backwards. And when you start to fire off, then that's when he's looking for actual takedowns. But the Stipe Miocic has a chance. I'm gonna have to say no. I think Jon Jones is too competitive. He's fought before that a guy. I don't know why. I don't know why Stipe has taken this long of a break, particularly if he does want to fight for the world title. I just see complete domination by Jon Jones via kicks and potential takedowns in the later rounds.
That's a bold statement to say that Stipe Miocic does not have a chance. It's a bold statement. You're talking about the greatest heavyweight that's ever done it. So that, I don't agree with you there, Henry. I think Stipe definitely has a chance, especially Stipe is the type of guy that can fight going backwards, as we saw in him going backwards and putting Fabricio Werdum out to become the heavyweight champion of the world. Stipe can fight going backwards. Stipe can wrestle, as far as being able to at least get up or keep Jon in those positions to where we're going to wrestle, we're going to jockey for positions here, to where normally when Jon Jones grabs someone, more than likely they're going to go down. So I think Stipe has a really, really big shot here. Honestly, Henry, I think they're both facing a challenge that they really haven't faced before. I think for Jon Jones, he hasn't really been able to fight a guy who can hit him and put him away quickly, can't fight going backwards, and is big enough and tall enough to wrestle with him in those positions. And so I think Jon is gonna have a hard time kind of dealing with that, especially when he's carrying all that extra weight on him. With that being said, it's very hard to bet against Jon Jones. I'm gonna go with Jon Jones.
Bo Nickal previews his fight against Paul Craig. Bo thinks Paul's experience is the most impressive thing about him and explains how he plans to combat that.
Yeah, I think that obviously Paul Craig poses a really interesting problem with how good he is on the ground, and it seems like he's had a lot of big wins, and they've all kind of been in very specific positions. So for me, it's working obviously on those positions that he's good at, figuring out how to solve that puzzle, but also figuring out how to just control position and fight where I want to fight. But for me, I'm so early in my career and my development that I'm really just focused on being a better fighter every day. And so this training camp, I wouldn't say it was like super intentionally focused in one area. It was more just overall improvement. And I think that's kind of, for me and the way I view myself, what's best for me all the time, right? Like a good game plan is important, but it's also just important to develop your skills overall. He's a guy that has, you know, over 25 fights and, you know, has had a long career. So I think the experience of being in there with some of the best guys in the world and competing consistently at a high level for a long time, that's probably the thing that's most impressive. And yeah, for me, the way I combat that is treating this fight similar to a wrestling match. You know, I don't make it a completely different thing in my mind, and I've had thousands and thousands of wrestling matches since I've been 5 years old. And so when I kind of take that experience into it and I don't really separate it, then I think, you know, my experience will of performing under the lights will, you know, kind of match that or exceed that. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that's fought the best in the world, and for me, you know, that's my goal, is to just continue to improve, fight the best guys in the world, and take a step up with every fight. And I think this is a step up, so I'm excited for it.
Renato Moicano says if he's going to fight Paddy Pimblett, it has to be his next fight. Renato says he does not want to fight backwards anymore in regards to rankings and wants to go for the title.
You said the last episode that they offer you a fight, but someone turned down. My question is, was Paddy Pimblett or no?
No, it was not Paddy Pimblett. Okay. I'm not gonna say who it was.
No, but I just want to know if it was Paddy or not.
No, it was not Paddy. And I don't think they would make that fight in such a hurry, right? December 14th against Paddy. I think probably they want Paddy on England, right?
I think they want you both to win one more fight and then make that. That's what I think.
But that doesn't make sense for me. If I'm not fighting Paddy Pimblett right now, I'm not fighting after. Because let's say I fight,
step back again,
way back, right? Now I don't even know how my ranking is, but probably I will fight somebody and I'll be around the top 5. So my next fight, if it's not Paddy Pimblett, will be somebody that can put me on the title. You know, that's the right time to do it.
No fighting back anymore.
Depends on the money. Depends, right? Really depends. But you know. I'm telling people, brother, they keep asking me, do you want to be champion? I just want to be champion because of the money. It's not like that.
I like the honesty.
Yeah, I don't want to be just, I want to be the best in the world. I am the best in the world, brother. I already know, you know, so I don't care. In my eyes, I am in the best.
Dana White gave an update on Conor McGregor's potential return to the UFC. On the Jim Rome show, Dana said, I think Conor and Chandler both like that fight. When Conor comes back, which I see being sometime in the later part of next year, we'll see where everybody's at and what's going on, and we'll figure out who faces Conor. That's why everybody was so excited about it. Chandler and Conor McGregor is a fun fight. Jake Paul defeated Mike Tyson tonight in their boxing match via unanimous decision. Prior to the fight, Joe Rogan said, I'm getting ready to watch this Tyson versus Jake Paul fight like I'm watching someone cast a spell that I hope actually works. And I don't really believe in magic, but I want to believe. After the fight, Joe followed up with this. He wrote, magic isn't real. Conor McGregor posted this after the fight. He wrote, they are eyeing Pritchard Colon for next opponent. He followed up with a 16-minute spar in sparring gloves. F*** off. Terrence McKinney writes, I'm just happy I didn't have to see OG Mike get knocked out. Julian Marquez said this fight made me sad. Sadiq Youssef thinks it was actually a good outcome. He said happy Mike gets to go home relatively damage-free. Adrian Yanez reposted this. It says this is about the worst outcome possible. Jake didn't even look impressive, and Mike is just a stationary target. Michael Johnson says they could have at least made this fake BS entertaining. Circus. Jake Paul, you're a clown. Good money move though. Scripted light sparring match. Dylan Danis says Mike Tyson should have never given Jake Paul the satisfaction of having his name on his record. And Ryan Garcia thinks there was no point to that fight.
Mike Tyson, it's such an honor. Let's give it up for Mike, bro. He's a legend. He's the greatest to ever do it. He's the GOAT. I look up to him. I'm inspired by him, and we wouldn't be here today without him. This man is an icon, and it's just an honor to be able to fight him.
I didn't prove nothing to anybody, only to myself. I'm not one of those guys that look to please the world. I'm just happy with what I can do.
Could I ask about the knee brace? Were you dealing with an injury going into the fight?
Yeah, but I can't use that for an excuse, because if I did, I wouldn't be in here.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from HJRC. It says, to anybody going to MSG to watch 309 this Saturday, please chant Aspinall's name when Jon inevitably beats old Stipe. The second one's from Kevin. It says, so let me get this right. They designed new gloves to prevent eye pokes. Now they have Jon and Chris on the same card, aka the kings of eye pokes, and they revert back to the old style. The special treatment they give Jon is actually disgusting, literally risking people's vision to give Jon a one-up. And the final one's from Squad Father. It says, if Stipe wins and immediately calls out Tom, he's the GOAT no matter what happens moving forward. There will be no debate. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.